my makeup lovers, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, my name's Allison and I'm glad to have you. Please stay and subscribe to my channel. I'm somewhat new, so this might not be as smooth as some of the other YouTubers that are out there, but I promise you my videos will get better and my reviews will get better and my tutorials will get better. So if you want to stick around and watch my growth, I would appreciate that. So today we are going to do a review slash slight tutorial, because there's no way I can do a tutorial on all these shades. This is the Morphe Stunning Vibes 35V that I recently picked up at Ulta. I think this is somewhat of a newer Morphe palette. I don't know if it's specifically, you know, just at Ulta and Morphe. I'm sure you can pick it up at both, at a Morphe store or Morphe online or in an Ulta. So, and I think this was like, oh dear, $24, $26. Morphe shadows in general are usually not that overly expensive. I'm not saying they're cheap, I'm just saying they're not overly expensive. I think it doesn't have a mirror, so if that's a big deal to you, just letting you know, a lot of these type of Morphe palettes do not come with mirrors. Mirrors do not break me down that I cannot buy a palette if it doesn't have a mirror. I actually don't care whether a palette has a mirror or not, because I can get a mirror anywhere and use it. I don't need it. I know people think, oh, traveling, it's great to have a mirror here. Most of the time when you're traveling, there's a bathroom or you bring your own compacts. I, for one, sometimes I don't want a huge mirror like that to look at. I just kind of want a smaller mirror so I can look at the detailed work I'm doing on my eye, not, you know, specifically my whole face. And yes, you can use a mirror to do your blush, bronzer, and all of that, but I just don't need it. But if you do need it, just to let you know, this palette does not come with a mirror. I also like these palettes because they're very streamlined. I mean, look how thin that is. This is easily packable in your suitcase if you wanted to take it somewhere. And when you look at this, there are multiple eye looks that you can do. You know, you don't look at this palette and think, oh, I only can do one or two eye looks. There are multiple eye looks. The one problem that I do have with palettes that are this large is they horrify me and intrigue me all at the same time. For me, I initially look at this and I'm like, wow, that's exciting. I have to have that palette. I love all those colors. Oh, give me, give me, give me. And then I bring it home and then I stare at it and I stare at it and I stare at it. And I think, okay, where am I gonna start with this? Where do I go with this? What shade do I begin with this? And that's a problem I think maybe a lot of people can have with palettes that are this large, is that we're given too much, which doesn't seem like a bad thing, but when you're newer to eyeshadows and you're given so many options in one palette, sometimes it's harder to narrow it down to say, okay, I'm gonna go with this color, this color, this color. I did a palette bingo recently and I almost used this one just to get more familiar with it. But then I was afraid that I would either get way too wacky of colors to use, or I would just get over here and just get all the browns and the tans, and that would be the most boring palette bingo that you would ever seen. So if you're someone that's newer to eyeshadows, this kind of a palette might be a little too overwhelming for you. What I would suggest for somebody who hasn't been doing eyeshadows for very long, or who isn't a makeup artist, because these palettes are great for makeup artists because there are multiple shades that go with multiple skin tones. So I think that's an awesome thing. But if you're just talking for yourself and you're new, I would say go to Morphe and go for the 9-pan palettes. I think there were either 2 or 3 of these with different shades in it. I think you can still get multiple looks with this, but it's less overwhelming for someone specifically starting out to get something like this and know, okay, I can put you know, these two together, and I could put a little gold on my eye, or I can use a little brown and put a little green and then gold on the inner corner. This is good for the brow bone, something like that. You can look at this even when you're new at it and say, hey, I know exactly what I'm doing with it. So that's just something to think. And also, there's a mirror on this one. The 9 pans have mirrors to them. So, and again, the 9 pans are streamlined too. So you could literally put this in your suitcase for the weekend and you'd get multiple looks out of this. So 9 pans to me have their place in makeup, especially if you're looking for a quick look and you don't want to sit there for 30 minutes trying to figure out what shade to use on a bigger palette. So I don't know if I said this, but there are 18 shimmer glitter shades in this palette here. I'm not going to swatch them all because we could be here all day if I swatch them all. But from what I can tell that I have been playing with, most of the shades swatch well. Trying to think. Some of them, I think it's this blue one here. Yeah, it's this blue one right here. It's more of a shimmer. Try to show it to you there. It's harder. It's like you need to go in a couple times to finally build it up to look like this, or you need to get a setting spray so you can build up the pigment on your eyes. But mostly, most of these shades that I've kind of played with and touched, remember, I've only got this a couple days ago, so I haven't, you know, even scratched the surface of the different shades and textures and colors that are in this palette here. So, but again, for what you're getting, the size, you know, how thin the palette is, I do think it's worth a look. Again, if you are someone that is somewhat comfortable with makeup and you can kind of focus in on where you want to go with what your day is, you know, this is my office look, this is my going out look, you know, you can have it all with these kind of palettes here. So I don't think you can lose with this. So today I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm going to use. So I am going to grab, I'm using mostly Morphe brushes over here. I'm gonna use my Morphe 441 brush, which if you do not have this Morphe 441 brush, at first I didn't use this brush as much for some reason. I just didn't. I kind of, you know, went for more of the, let's see if I have it over here. Yeah, this one here, the Morphe 505 brush. I was using this more, but this one seems to pick up the color a lot better for the crease line. So again, if you don't have this brush, pick it up at Morphe. I don't think you'll be disappointed. The only thing about these brushes here is sometimes they will shed when you first wash them. So just keep an eye out on that. Kind of be a little more gentle with these brushes. They're not overly expensive, so they're not the best quality in the world, but they're literally not the worst quality in the world either. So where shall we go today? I think I am going to go for a blue look today. So I think I'm going to start with this shade right here. So let's see what we can pick up on our brush. And I've patted into this pretty good, and there's no kick up on that shade. So that's kind of nice. Let me open up my little tiny mirror that I love. And I am going to, of course, put this in my crease line. And there is a lot of pigment when you put this brush down. So just letting you know, a little bit will go a long way with this blue. And now I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to kind of blend it around my crease line. Oh, just letting you guys know, I already did my foundation and my concealer, and I powdered my face. And of course I have primed my eyes with my Makeup Revolution. Kind of going into the inner corner there a little bit. I'm taking a little bit off. I have my little kicker thingy here, whatever these things are called. Shadow switch. Goodness. Because I got a little too much on my brush here, and I want to kind of blend this out a little bit. But that was just one sweep of the product on my brush here. So you will definitely get color payoff on this shadow for sure. So now I'm just taking my brush and I'm just kind of blending this in. Just trying to be really careful since I already put my foundation on. Trying not to get it down my face with the eyeshadow. Normally I don't put my foundation on first. Normally I do my eyes first. But I have a little healing thing on my face and I didn't want to horrify you people. It is not Halloween. You do not need to see my weird reaction I had to some makeup that I tried. Again, if you didn't see that video, which I don't remember which one it was, but I had opened up a primer or a foundation. I don't know which one it was, but it didn't have the safety seal on it. Note, if it doesn't have a safety seal, don't use the product. Because I think that was the problem, because I have never had a problem before. So... and for some reason, I'm getting some pink, so I bet there was some pink on that brush. So let me grab a tinier brush. Is this it? I don't want that one. Let's go with this one. This is my Morphe 562. And I'm going to get a little bit of this shadow on my brush. And a little bit, I'm telling you, I barely dipped it in. And I got a ton of product on my brush. I'm going to knock some of that off because I don't want all of that. There we go. I think there was some pink on that other brush because now you probably can't see it, but I've got some pink on my inner eye here. Not really what I was going with, but I'll deal. So far, I am extremely happy with this quality of these eyeshadows. It's blending out very well. It's quite pigmented. It went on my brush extremely easy. I don't see a problem with this. Okay, I'm gonna take this shade right here. Let me make sure it's a blue. Sometimes, yes, it is a blue. This one right here, I'm gonna deepen up my V with this brush here. Sometimes colors can look like, oh, excuse me, can look like they're blue, but they're like a rich purple. Yeah. So sometimes you gotta be a little careful. And since I lost the paper that told me what the shades were, and I am just putting this into my inner V. And if you don't know what inner V means, it's just this area here where you make a V of your eye. I think you guys all know that, but just in case there's somebody watching that doesn't understand what that means, that's what tutorials are for, to explain things. I think sometimes we assume everybody who's watching our tutorials know exactly what we're doing. And we forget. We all had to learn at some point what things meant. And I never want somebody watching me not knowing what I'm doing. All right, now I'm just patting it on the outer crease of my eye a little bit. Again, I just want to darken up. I was gonna say richen up my outer V. Kind of excited that blue's coming back in. I always liked blue. I was always told not to use blue because I have blue eyes. But then I'm told use blue because you have blue eyes. So I just say do what you want. Forget about what shade color your eyes are. Decide what color you want to put down and put it down. And I love to blend it out because then I can always add more color on the inner part because I've already blended the other part. So I don't have to go back and blend again and again and again. I can keep building up the color here as much as I want. And that's what we got going right now. So now I'm gonna decide where I wanna go next. So let's see. Okay, all right, I think, let me see what it's like. I got a pink shade, and this looks more like a champagne. Yeah, I'm gonna take this color right here. It's more of a champagne color. And I'm gonna get this off my hand first. And then I'm gonna clean off my finger, because I'm gonna use my finger here first. I'm gonna take that more champagne color, and I'm gonna put that on my eye. I'm gonna bring that up a little bit. So I'm putting that in the inner crease and kind of midway on my eye. Something to that effect there. My Morphe 507 brush. I'm gonna dip it back into the champagne color that I just put on my eyelid. I'm gonna get some of that on. Tap a little bit of that off because that's a little much. Just gonna use this little setting spray right here. Doesn't matter what you have, it doesn't matter what it is, just use whatever setting spray that you have. Doesn't have to be MAC Fix Plus. Doesn't have to be anything expensive. I know the bigger YouTubers use Max Fix Plus all the time, but you use what you have. Don't ever think you have to buy something. You can always use what you have. So that's what we got going on here. Now I am going to go back in with that darker blue with my little brush here, and I'm gonna just kind of blend that into the champagne color that I just put down. And then what I do is I just sort of pat it into the shade there. So it almost looks like the champagne's almost coming out of the blue. And not that you just plop it right on top of the blue. Hopefully you understood what I meant by that. But what we got going on right there. I'm just gonna bring some of the darker up in the upper crease in the middle area. And I've kind of got like a little V going on, and I don't hate it. So again, I can't really do anything about it if I did, because I have all my shades down. All right, that's what we got going on so far. I'm gonna do my other eye and my bronzer and all that off camera, and I come back, well, we're gonna finish up our eye look. Just put some black liner. I would love to be one of those people that would do a beautiful wing, but yeah, I don't do wings. Sorry. It's something I haven't mastered yet, let's just say. I'm trying, I just haven't mastered it yet. I have put on my bronzer, which was my Wet n Wild from the Dragon collection. My blush is from Pacifica. It was from an Ipsy one that I've done. My lipstick, which barely looks noticeable, is from Sleek Makeup. And I think that's it. Oh, my highlighter is from Becca. It's Opal. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I think that's it. Everything else I already had done. My eyebrows are from e.l.f. actually, which are a little reddish browner than I would like, but it is what it is. I'm holding this brush in my hand for 5 hours here. Okay, so I want to do something where I'm using some more of the colors here. So I think I'm going to do something a little crazy. So I'm going to take this color here and I'm going to put that into my bottom lash line. So I'm going to take my Morphe 432 brush so I can kind of put that in. I just want to try out a few more colors for you guys. So, I mean, if I wanted to play it safe, I would have just put some blue under my eyes and been done with it. But how boring would that be, huh? To play it safe. It's more fun to have a little fun. Alright, so I've kind of put that there for the moment. I'm going to get some more and we're going to put that in the other lash line. Sorry, I'm concentrating on not poking myself in the eye. Which seems like it should be a simple thing to not do. But it always is not easy for me not to poke myself in the eyeball. Alright. Got that on my bottom lash line. So now we're going to take, what should we take now? I want to use another color. I think, I'm just looking at my brushes here. I think I'm going to take this one right here because if you can tell, there's some pinks and there's some silvers and there's some purples in it. This is a shimmery blue, and I'm taking a BH Cosmetic brush, my 132, and I'm going to blend that into the pink that I put down, or mauve. I know, it's a little crazy, guys. But I like crazy. So we got that going. I'll get some more. And you can put shimmer in your lower lash line if you want. I know they act like there are rules in makeup. I guess there are a few. Even I listen to sometimes. But in reality, you do you. I'm all for everybody doing what makes them feel pretty. There's no standard of pretty. There's nobody who's does their makeup and, oh, well, they're just pretty because they did their makeup right. If you walk out that door and you feel pretty and you feel like you've done a great job with your makeup, then you are gorgeous. And don't ever let anybody else tell you that you're not, because you are. All right, so that's what we got going on here. I don't think it shows as well as I'd like it to, but it is what it is. And now I got my my little eyeliners right here. Trying to decide which one I want to put in my bottom lash line here. Oh, let us see here. Should we put white? Let's put white. This is from Sephora, and this is in White Snow. Ugh. And this is a little more matte. I don't think it's going to be White Snow because it's going to blend into some of the other colors that are already in my lower lash line, so that's not going to work out how I want it to. You know what? That's not going to work out because the other colors that I have now got into my waterline, so it's not going to show up how I want it to anyway. So there's no point in trying that. I guess I am going to go with Oxblood. Yes, this is from NYX. And we'll just, I think I'm going to end up with some weird mixture of purplish reddish look here. That's okay. I get what I get here. Let me get a little closer so you can see the shadows and the shades. I have to tell you, I like this. I like the shades. I like how they turned out. They're almost like periwinkle blue violet shades, and I think they're gorgeous. And you don't really actually see this shade color a lot in a lot of palettes, the blue. So I think for the cost, I think you can't go wrong. Again, there's no mirror, so if that bothers you, maybe you should overlook this one. But if it doesn't bother you that there isn't a mirror in here, which it doesn't bother me in the slightest, I don't need a mirror to make my decision on palettes. I think this is a good palette. I think there are great shades in here to choose from. Again, it's a standard Morphe. There's a lot of brown, so if you took all that out, you're getting more of these 3 rows, maybe a couple over here that are maybe new for you for the Morphe line. But all in all, I think this is good. I think it is streamlined. I think this is easily packable in your suitcase to go traveling. You take this with you for a week, you wouldn't really need any other shadows because you can make enough looks with the shades that are in here. But again, if you're new to eyeshadows and you're just starting out, I think you should. I think you could. I'm never telling you what you should and shouldn't do, but I think you could go with something like this 9-pan palette here, and it might be a little better for you to have a little less shades to pick from because you will not get overwhelmed that way. But again, it's up to you what you want to do. You know your level of abilities. If you think I've been doing it for a couple months and I can completely handle having all these shades, go for it. You will not be disappointed. I think they blend out very well, and I think you can make a lot of amazing looks with this. And the same thing with this one here though. I think you could do a lot of amazing looks. I think you could take this one on a little weekend vacation, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you'd come out with at least 3 or 4 different looks for that. So it's kind of up to you. You know your needs and your wants. So, and I think that's it. I've enjoyed the shadows. I've enjoyed doing this review and tutorial with you guys. I hope that you found it somewhat helpful. I like this look. Unfortunately, I'm going to be doing some other things, so this look will probably be disappearing in about a couple hours, which is kind of sad because look at that shine. I just love highlighters. I really do. They're my jam. There, can I sound old that way and do that? Sorry if I've embarrassed you. So I think that's it. I don't think you can go wrong on most of the Morphe shadows. I think they're of a very decent quality. Are they the best? No. But are they the most expensive? Heck no. So I think you're probably getting more for your buck than you would for other eyeshadows. There's some that are at the drugstores that you buy that the quality is not there and you're spending almost as much money. So I think Morphe is a pretty good bet. So I hope you enjoyed this, guys. I hope you guys have a good day, a good night, a good weekend, a good week, wherever you guys are at or whenever you're watching this. If I was somewhat enjoyable or if I taught you anything at all, please subscribe to my channel. It would mean the world to me. Hit the like button. Leave me a comment if there's something that you want me to add, or if you have some helpful comments. I'm more than open to constructive criticisms. I'm still somewhat new at this, and I will take it all in and work with what I can. I think that's it. I want you guys to have a good day, and I can't wait to see you guys again. All right, bye-bye.